Hello and welcome to another Cuppa of Adam and Craig, where today we are going to be counting down our top 10 most underrated animals in UK zoos. So we have based this on a number of things, from rarity of seeing them in the zoo to the amount of love they get from guests or merchandise in the shops, and the number of donations you see on the plaques that you normally get by the exhibit.
Now, if you're a regular zoo goer, you're probably thinking, what on earth are they talking about? Because capybara are literally everywhere at zoos. And they are, and they seem to be really popular with guests. But the one thing we notice every time we're at a zoo is that people just don't know what they are. They just don't know what a capybara is. They tend to walk past them, see them, and constantly we hear people sort of pointing at them and saying, look at that giant guinea pig, don't we? So that's why we put them at number 10, because although they do get love from the public and they seem to be quite common in zoos these days, people still don't know what this animal is and still don't talk outside of zoos about this animal enough.
No, and people don't seem to stick around and watch them like they do with other animals, do they?
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
And they're really lovely. We love a capybara. We did a capybara experience at Chesington a few years ago, and they were so placid and lovely, and they just let us cuddle them and stroke them, and the keeper said they like the tummies being rubbed, and we got to feed them lettuce and carrots and broccoli.
They are lovely little creatures. They make terrible pets, as we once saw in a documentary, but they are absolutely lovely animals, and we just wish more people knew what they were called and sort of talked about them outside of zoos, because if you go on the websites of zoos and when you hear people talking about going to the zoo, it's always like the bigger animals, isn't it? And capybaras never seem to get mentioned, so that's why they're our number 10.
Coming in at number 9 is a prairie dog, and this is because mainly we've not really seen them at many zoos in the UK. And we know Twycross has got them, and we've seen them elsewhere, but I can't really remember where else.
I can't think where, no. I definitely know Twycross have got them.
Yeah, Twycross do have them. And although when they do have them, they do attract a crowd, it's never as big as, say, like meerkats, which I think prairie dogs are just as cute as a meerkat and just as animated as a meerkat.
And the same with capybara. Like, whenever people are coming to the enclosure, no one ever says, oh my god, a prairie dog. They're all like, oh my god, what is that? And I think most people know it from that internet clip of the one shouting Alan. I think that's where most people actually know prairie dogs from, but still don't know what a prairie dog is.
In fact, often we see people do that at meerkats, don't we?
Yes.
When it's not even a meerkat.
Yeah, it's not actually a meerkat in the clip.
It's a prairie dog or a marmot. I think they're both the same sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a prairie dog in the clip.
Yeah.
But yeah, the one that's shouting Alan. So yeah, that's why they're our number 9, because again, people just don't seem to know what they are, and they are really funny little creatures.
Yeah, they are. Really
they're
cute
really
to
nice.
watch.
I would love to see more.
Yeah.
Would love to see more of them. Okay, so when we say small cats, we're not talking about like domestic cats that you would get at home. We mean big cats, but like the small big cats.
So not lions or tigers or leopards.
Yeah. When anyone thinks of big cats, they think of lions, tigers, leopards, jaguar maybe. But there are actually smaller big cats that are just as impressive, that just don't seem to be known, don't seem to get the recognition they deserve. And they are starting to become more common now. Servals have started popping up in a lot of different zoos. And caracals we've seen on a few occasions, haven't we?
Yeah.
And they are beautiful, beautiful cats. Servals especially are a really nice cat, and I think actually in Africa where they come from, they're known as the cat of many coats or something they call them, don't they?
Oh, I don't know.
Have I just made that up? I might have just made that up, yeah. Because they look sort of a little bit leopardy, a little bit cheatery, but they're not.
Yeah, a bit cheatery because they're quite slender, aren't they?
Yeah, and they've got spots on them, but then they've also got stripes, haven't they? Beautiful, beautiful cat. And caracal as well is a beautiful cat, as well as like fishing cats, Scottish wild cats, all those sort of
bobcats.
Jungle cat that we saw at Who Farm recently.
And one that they've got at Chesington, which every time we go to Chesington, we go about twice a year, they've got clouded leopard, and I don't think we've seen it once, have we?
Are they a small one?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how big they are.
I think they're small, because we've never seen it actually. Just like the ocelot at the Birmingham Wildlife Centre.
Yeah. completely elusive.
So you're lucky if you do see them.
We saw nothing, and when I say nothing, I literally mean nothing.
Don't get us wrong, we love a tiger, we love a lion, but we just wish there was a bit more recognition for the smaller big cats out there, because they're just as beautiful and they deserve just as much love.
And moving on from cats to dogs, we now have at number 7 wolves. So we've not been to many places with wolves, have we?
No, and this is why they're on the list,
yeah.
because they're not well-known animal. Plenty of people have fleeces with them on, but you don't seem to get them that often. We've seen them at Blackpool, haven't we? We've seen them at Longleat.
At Longleat, they've got the
Hoof Farm.
Iberian Hoof Farm, yes.
Hoof Farm have got one wolf and one wolf dog.
One wolf dog. So Blackpool have got the Iberian wolf, and then they've got the timber wolf at Longleat, and then the one at Hoof Farm, it's a grey wolf, I think. I don't actually know. And then
I don't know. No, I haven't got as good a memory as you have, no. So I don't know.
They have got them at Knowsley and Woburn, but the times that we went, we didn't actually see them, did we? I don't know where they were, but we didn't see them. And although the wolves at Blackpool, they do attract a crowd, it's not as big as the crowd you see in the lion and the tiger enclosure at Blackpool, or the giraffes.
Or for meerkats.
Of meerkats,
always hundreds of people are on the meerkat enclosure whenever you go to a zoo, isn't there? There are other animals at the zoo, go see them. But yeah, wolves are a beautiful, beautiful animal. Yeah. Beautiful animal.
And if you know any other zoos in the UK that have wolves, let us know, because it's something that we'd like to
do. Let us know.
Yeah.
And that sort of expands to other dogs as well. Like big cats are a big thing in zoos, aren't they? But the bigger species of dog aren't really as popular. So there you go, wolves at number 7. Frogs. Okay, so most people when they think of a frog probably think of a little green sort of hoppy thing, don't they?
Yeah.
But there are so many species of frogs out there, and there are so many beautiful frogs in zoos. Sort of poison dart frogs, I think strawberry poison dart frog we saw at Chester.
Golden
Mantella frogs are absolutely beautiful.
And they're tiny as well.
Tiny
probably
frogs.
About the size of a thumbnail.
And even Sea Life often has frogs around as well. And
that's where we fell in love with the frogs.
Mantella. Oh, poison.
The poison, yeah. They had the poison and the mantella.
They used to have the terrible poison dart frog, which I think is one of the best names of an animal ever. Terrible poison dart frog. Yeah. But I just don't think that sort of colourful frogs, poison dart frogs, mantella frogs, that sort of really interesting, colourful frog gets enough recognition. Everybody seems to think of just a green frog, and again, people don't stick around to see them as much, do they?
No, they don't just look at them and then quickly go, but we like to stick around and watch them, don't we?
And poison dart frogs are fun because you need to do a bit of looking, you need to search for them. They're always quite hidden.
When they used to have the creepy caves open in Chester, we...
Chesington.
Sorry, I always get them too mixed up.
Terrible with names, terrible with names.
In Chesington, when they used to have the creepy caves open, we actually saw them eating the little tiny flies, didn't we? We saw the little tiny tongues coming out and catching the flies.
Yeah, because they feed them flies, and the tiny fruit flies that get fed. So yeah, more recognition for poison dart frogs and mantella frogs and other colourful frogs that we may not have thought about or we may not have discovered.
Even the bigger frogs like the mountain chicken frog.
Oh God, yeah, that they've got a Chester, really rare frog. And tree frogs as well. Tree frogs are very, very cute frogs. So yeah, more recognition for frogs beyond your average English pond frog. What we want.
Okay, so we're halfway through the top 10 now. At number 5, we have Mara. You may be thinking, what is a Mara? And that's why it is on our top 10. A lot of people don't seem to know what a Mara is. When we are at a zoo, we always hear people ask, what is that? Even though there's
calling it a rabbit.
Yeah, or a little deer. But it's a South African rodent. And they're really cute. They had babies when we went
South American.
Did I say?
African, yeah.
South African. No, I said it again.
South American.
South American.
It begins with an A, that's all it is to you, isn't it? And if you have watched our Yorkshire Wildlife Park vlog, you'll see we did a whole little bit on Mara when we were in the South American beaver, didn't we? You were sat down talking about them because they had babies, I think, didn't they? They had little baby Mara. But yeah, they're on here because again, people just don't seem to know what this animal is, and whilst they seem to enjoy it while it's there still. We see loads of people going in that don't know what a Maori is, and we wish people did because they're beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Dolls, the infamous dolls, which if you've watched our vlogs, all of our vlogs, you'll have seen in the first West Midlands video. I did a terrible attempt to try to describe them. But this is the first place, I think this is the first place we discovered them, wasn't it?
Yeah. We didn't even know what they were until...
No, we didn't even know what they were until then.
Or how to say the name.
Or how to say it.
Yeah, we had to do Google speech.
But yeah, they're a really cute little animal, and West Midlands is so far the only place that we've ever seen them. We do know that there are other places in the UK that have them, but that's the only place we've ever seen them. And we think really more zoos should get them because they're really, really nice, and they're something different. Be nice to see some more variety in animals in zoos.
Yeah, and it's also another canine as well. Like we said earlier with the wolves, you don't see a lot of canines in zoos or animal parks. And I really love the one that they've got at West Midlands because it's like in a foresty part of the
It's a really nice little enclosure, isn't it? Yeah.
And they are often quite active, aren't they? Yeah. Not like the hunting dog, which are usually sleeping when you go through. These ones are often quite active. So if you see them sleeping, just stay a little while, and
they're always running about, aren't they? They're always they're sort of up and down quite a lot, aren't they?
Okay, number 3 now, we've got City Tonga, and you might be thinking again, what is a City Tonga?
And that's why they're here.
Yeah, and these again are ones that you don't really see people sticking around and watching.
No, because I think in general there's a lot of hoofed animals and cattle that just people just don't seem to give as much attention as they should.
And so a City Tonga is a African forest animal, and they live in the African forests, and they're an antelope species. So they're like a brownie, like an orangey brown colour with stripes, and then the males are black with big horns, and we've seen them at Chester and Chesington.
Males aren't quite as colourful, are they? Which is odd because with animals it's usually the way around, isn't it? It's usually the females that are the more plain coloured, and the males are usually the more colourful ones, aren't they?
And I think they've got a really beautiful coat, as females especially, with their like that reddy brown orangey
really
colour,
sort of gingery sort of.
Yeah, with like white stripes, and I think they're just as attractive as the zebras, and they get quite a lot of.
One of the nicest sort of antelope / deer sort of species that you see. But yeah, a lot of people can't name them, and a lot of people, even when they see the sign, can't pronounce it.
No. Are we even saying it right?
I'm assuming we are, as far as I know. Binturon. Now, if you've watched this channel for a while, you will know that we are a huge fan of this animal. And I mean, it smells of popcorn. I mean, what more do you want in an animal than one that smells of popcorn? It's amazing. And they are just very weird looking, but in a cute way, aren't they?
Yeah. They're not typically cute, are they?
No, but they are in a, well, I don't know, they're not your average sort of animal, but they are a beautiful looking animal, beautiful smelling animal, which is something you don't get often. And again, nobody can name these when we go to a zoo. We see so many people walking up to the enclosure and going, what's that? Or calling it a cat bear.
Cat bear or bear cat,
Which, to be fair, that's what they look like. That is what they look like.
They are becoming more common now, aren't they? Like, a lot of collections are starting.
I think that's an ongoing theme throughout this video, is if you do go to a zoo and you don't know what an animal is, read the sign. There's a sign there for a reason. That's what it's there for. Read it.
And you might learn something as well.
Yeah, but yeah, they are very popular in zoos these days. But again, people just don't know what they are. People don't know what to call them, and again, even when they see the sign, they probably don't know how to pronounce it. In fact, I think even when we went to Dudley, I think the sign does actually call it a cat bear, doesn't it?
On the map on the Dudley Zoo map that you get given, it says, that says bear cat or cat bear, one of the two.
One of the two.
Yeah.
Which it's not related to either, I don't think, is it? Experiences with these animals are also becoming a lot more popular these days as well, and popping up at a lot more zoos. And if you get the opportunity, then we would definitely recommend that you go for it. We did one at Chesington, do you remember?
Yeah.
And then the keeper brought out the Binturon, and she says, "Oh, I bet you can't tell me what this was." And we immediately said, "Oh, it's a Binturon." And I I think we completely ruined her day with that, didn't we? She seemed really proud that she was going to introduce us to this animal that we didn't know, and we were like, oh my god, it's a Binturon, and she was like, oh.
Yeah, because we'd previously done an experience at Who Farm, hadn't we?
I think by that point we knew them quite well, didn't we?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because we first saw them at Birmingham Wildlife Centre.
Yeah. Absolutely love a Binturon.
Mm-hmm.
Love them.
So before we reveal our top pick, here's a few honourable mentions that didn't make the top 10.
Mainly because we didn't have any footage of them. But first one is raccoons. These are an animal which are all over the internet. There's clips of them everywhere. People love them all over the internet, but they just don't seem to appear in zoos, and when they do, they just don't seem to get the same love that they get online, so we really want that to change.
Another animal that is on the same level as a meerkat but doesn't get as much recognition is a mongoose, which is very, very similar to a meerkat. Just as cute, but don't quite know why it doesn't get as much recognition, especially the dwarf mongoose. They're adorable.
Really cute. Also, we have the Philippine mouse deer. This is one of the smallest deer that you can ever see, and they are super cute. I think the reason this doesn't get as much attention is because they're really hard to see.
Yeah.
They tend to hide in the shrubbery, but they are cute. If you ever get a chance to see one, they're beautiful.
Okay, another honourable mention is lemurs, but the non-ringtail lemurs, because I do feel like the ringtail lemurs get all the spotlight when there's such a wide variety of lemur out there, from ruffled to the tiny mouse lemur. But the ringtail, we feel
It's
like
the only one that people seem to know.
Yeah. And one more that I'm just going to throw in there, and I know I'm the only one that's going to agree on this, is spiders.
No, we're not going there. We're not doing this. No.
I completely see why people don't like spiders, but I think they are fascinating to watch.
I think you said that on purpose, because now you know I'm going to have to edit some into this video, so I'm going to have to look at them. So here we are, we're finally at number 1, and this is what we think is the most underrated animal at zoos.
A carpy. And the reason why we've chose a carpy is for all 3 reasons, really. You don't see them as often. A lot of people don't seem to know what they are, and they don't seem to get as much attention as like the giraffes and the zebras.
And they are such an amazing animal. It's basically someone took a giraffe's head, put it on a donkey's body, and gave it some zebra's legs. And I mean, I don't know what is not to love about that. They are beautiful creatures. They are so intriguing, so different to a lot of what you get at zoos.
They look a bit prehistoric as well, don't they?
They're just so odd in the best possible way. I absolutely love them. And they just don't get enough recognition, and they're not that common. I know they've got them at London and Yorkshire, but I can't particularly think of anywhere. Oh, Chester got them. Oh yeah, Chester got them as well. Yeah,
the giraffes. That's another thing. So in Chester Zoo, the house is next to the giraffe house, and they don't seem to get as big a crowd as the giraffes, which are right next door.
No, they don't. And they definitely deserve it. We absolutely love we absolutely love these creatures, and they definitely deserve a lot more recognition than what they currently get. And they need to start getting them in more zoos, because I'm sure they are endangered, aren't they? I'm sure they're an endangered species, so they definitely belong in more zoos. So there you go. That's our top 10. If you've got any ideas, anything you think we should have included, pop it down in the comments. If you've got any comments on the animals that we have included, by all means, let us know. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's something a bit different for us. Hopefully we'll be out on the road again next month now, at attractions again, so subscribe for all the content that we've got coming up. Of course, give this video a like if you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you eventually, either when we do stuff or when we decide to sit down with a cuppa again.